always be happy when we share experience with other eTwinners. Today, I'm very happy to join you, me and my lovely colleagues Rohia. I'm Hanan Abu Rashid. I'm an ambassador from Jordan. And today we want to, we hope that we inspire you by presenting our experience, me and my partner, in our project covering COVID-19 through digital media literacy. And I will give the floor to my partner, Rohia, to present herself and to present a description and to start with a description of our project. Yes, Rohia.
Okay, I also welcome everyone. Hello, everyone. And thank you, Asif, for giving us the chance and to present here. So, and Ruhia Mahmoudova, as Hanan already introduced me, I'm a eTwinning ambassador from Azerbaijan. Today we are gonna present our presentation, and our presentation tackles with media literacy. And we had a very successful project last year in 2020, our academic year, and it was titled Covering COVID-19 through Digital Media Literacy. So Hanan, let me know if I'm heard. So am I heard clearly?
Yes, Rohia.
So can you hear me,
Rohia, I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Great. So before moving to our presentation, I would like to introduce to our participants what is media and what is literacy and what is media literacy. So media is the communication outlets or tools used to store and deliver information or data. And the term refers to the components of the mass media communication industry, such as print media, publishing, the news media, photography, cinema, broadcasting, radio and television, both digital media and advertising. And literacy is popularly understood as an ability to read and write, as well as awareness of something related. Reading literacy and media literacy have a lot in common, actually. And reading starts with recognizing letters. Media literacy is the ability to identify letters, different types of media, and understanding the messages they are sending. So can I control with the slides here? And what is media literacy? Before jumping to the presentation, just I want to take your votes, dear participants. So if you have media literacy classes in your country, and how do you find it's important or unimportant? So if you don't have such kind of classes, media literacy classes, and do you think that you have to do that? So, and we have a poll here. Please, Hanan, will you drop the link to the chat box and let the presenters let the participants to vote for it. So, and we will analyze the results of the poll at the end of the presentation, and I don't want to waste the time on it. So, and why is media literacy important? And so kids take in a huge amount of information from a wide array of sources and far beyond in traditional media, TV, radio, newspapers, and magazines. And most parents use. So there are text messages, memes, viral videos, social media, video games, advertising, and more. But all media shares one thing. Someone created it, and it was created for a reason. So, and understanding that reason is the basis of media literacy. We don't always know who created something and why they made it, and whether it is credible or not. And this makes media literacy tricky to learn and teach. Nonetheless, media literacy is an essential skill in the digital age. So what's important to understand is that media literacy is not about protecting kids from unwanted messages. Although some groups urge families to just turn off the TV, and they think it's okay. And the fact is, media are so ingrained in our cultural milieu, and that even if you turn off this TV set, you still cannot escape today's media culture. Media no longer is just influence our culture; they are our culture. So media literacy, therefore, is about helping students become competent and critical and literate in all media forms, that so that they control their interpretation of what they see or hear, rather than letting the interpretation control them. So, and specifically, media literacy helps kids to learn and think critically. As kids evaluate media, they decide whether the messages make sense and why certain information was included and what wasn't included, and what the key ideas are. And they learn to use examples to support their opinions. And then they can make up their own minds about the information based on knowledge they already have. Then they easily figure out which news is a bias, which one is misinformation, disinformation, or propaganda. Become a smart consumer of products and information. Media literacy helps kids learn how to determine whether something is credible. It also helps them determine the persuasive intent of advertising and understand the author's goal. So what does the author want you to take away from a piece of media? So is it purely informative? Is it trying to change your mind? Or is it introducing you to new ideas you have ever heard of? So when kids understand what type of influence something has, they can make informed choices. And media literacy, last but not least, includes asking...
Excuse me, dear Rohi. Rohia, some of the eTwinners here, our colleagues said that the sound is cut off. I don't know if you have any problem in the sound from your side.
No.
I don't know, because they...
I haven't unmuted myself. So can you hear me clearly, Hanan?
We are hear you. Yes, we are hear you, but there is a cutoff every minute in your sound. I don't know what is the reason of this interruption. If you use a headset or it is from the speaker, or I don't know what is the problem.
Maybe
because they said that the sound is not...
So maybe it's because of internet connection. Possible. Yes, that may be a problem. Yeah, I'm trying to use my best. So hope it will adjust.
I don't know. Okay.
So am I heard?
I don't know if it is from the...
Hanan, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Rohia, but I think that the problem is from the speaker, or I don't know if you are very close to the mic, or because there is some interruption. Please go ahead. Maybe you can make the
okay.
sound.
Hope it won't.
Yes, Rohia.
Yeah, it won't happen again. So where we said media literacy includes asking specific questions, and backing up your opinions with examples. Following media literacy steps allows you to learn for yourself what a given piece of media is and why it was made and what you want to think about it. Actually, it's highly approved that eTwinning came up with this annual theme, prioritize media literacy as its annual theme in 2021. Because nowadays our students do need being media literate. So our children live in a world of powerful 24/7 media. And there has been a drastic increase in the amount of time children and youth are spending with media. of the last decade. And children ages to 8 to 18 now spend on average of about 8 hours per day with entertainment media outside of school, according to recent research. So to become media literate is not to memorize facts or statistics about the media, but rather to learn to raise the right questions about what you are watching, reading, or listening to. Len Masterman, the acclaimed author of Teaching the Media, calls it critical autonomy, or the ability to think for oneself. And so, coming up with this issue, we set up the project covering COVID-19 through digital media literacy, where we were gonna aim to raise awareness about media, disinformation, propaganda, and especially in those hard times of pandemic when all kinds of disinformation bias were going viral, and people experienced chaos, trouble, anxiety, and all who got or didn't get contracted with the virus used to get panicked. So I'm sure that the same happened in all countries, and governments had to suspend schools. So we lost close contact with our students who needed much more support in those days. And in response to school closures, remote learning and teaching were put forward. One more point related to the pandemic was fighting misinformation. Thus, digital media literacy emerged with its importance. The project was set up on this idea, and for this idea of mine, Hanan was the best partner and co-founder.
Yes, I think we missed Rohia. She joined us again. So we will. Okay, Rohia. So do not waste the time. I will.
Hanan?
Yes, Rohia.
I'm sorry. So internet connection lets me down. So
yes,
what part did
yes, you want to continue?
So
it's okay.
Yes, will you speak?
So do I continue to the project aims?
Yeah,
so because we have now.
Will you speak about the aims of our project? Because this project was it in very hard times.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Yes. So thank you, Rohia. Our main aims of the project, I hope that my voice is clear for all of you. The first aim, thank you. The first aim of the project was to make our students literally be aware of the reasons and the results of coronavirus, and how they can get protected from it, and also how they learn during this period of time. Of course, this is all will be done by searching how to get right information from trusted sources, and how students can avoid misinformation related to corona, which has spread greatly in this period, of course. The second aim of our project was to put forward students' digital media literacy, because we believe that media literacy is a key tool to build resilience to health-related misinformation, including misinformation related to COVID-19, of course, pandemic. And our project explained why misinformation has such a powerful influence on the brain, and provide our students with valuable research tools to trace trusted sources, so they can avoid misleading, and also they can avoid fake news related to COVID-19. We want our students to understand the world around them, and to stay up to date on the challenges they face and how to overcome them. Of course, one one of the ways they can do this is by seeking out and by sharing information, sharing a lot of information. So all of us know that since COVID-19 appeared, not just thousands of scientific studies have been come out, but also we have information from health agency. We have information from some scientific articles, some bloggers, some vloggers. Also, we have information from social media broadcaster, and the students may see also see information shared by their friends or maybe their families. So as we want our students, this big amount of information is called infodemic. Infodemic means a flood of information. So we want our students to deal with this flood of information, and also we want from them to manage this great amount of information they faced on all this social media. The third aim of our project was e-safety. As we know all, online resources are widely used by our students during the quarantine and during this period of time, making it particularly important to provide our students with a set of guidelines and a set of criteria by which they can assess source credibility and also ignore untrustworthy information. And also to learn, we want them to learn how to stay safe in digital environment. In addition to teaching the students how to responsibly create and also disseminate their own messages. The last aim of our project was about enhancing critical thinking skills, which are a very important skill in media literacy, decision making, and also to make them responsible choices related to information they believe. So to achieve these four main aims, me and my colleagues, Rohia, created some activities that we think we can achieve through them, these activities. And we will start with the first activity with my colleagues, Rohia. Yes, Rohia, please. Rohia, you are muted. You are muted, Rohia.
Can you hear me, Hanan? Yeah.
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Can you hear me? So we started the project with 8th and 9th grade students.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, and since we thought they were adolescents and I mean had grown enough to handle all kinds of news and messages going viral through the media, we decided to push a quiz at the beginning. Actually, the quiz was designed to elicit children's spatial awareness and basic insight about coronavirus, as well as to have them learn how glossary, so new glossary or terms, vocabulary, so related to coronavirus. One more point of doing this quiz was to make sure what sources students rely on when they wanted to get news about COVID-19 each day, because everyone was panicked, and so we searched for new information updates every day. And since the survey was designed based on the official information graphs of sources like John Hopkins, CSSC, WHO, World Health Organization, European CDC, we did intend to make them refer to reliable sources, but not every news portals or local agencies. So thus we provided instructions of how to define reliable sources. So to make them attractive for the kids, we used web tools to create ebooks and compiled a tutorial where most important media literacy instructions were installed. So here I've included some shots from the ebook. So let me go. Yes. Here. So the first thing to do is to stop and think. So this almost happens to everyone, that we get excited to inform our family or friends about the media about the news that we just got via WhatsApp, Facebook, or other social networks. And however, we barely think or if it is about its validity, so credibility. Even we think that we can help them to be in the loop delivering this news. But experts say the number of one thing we must do to halt the misinformation is to simply stop and think. If you have any doubts, double check it, look up the sources, and don't share things that you are unsure. And if you have at least a drop of doubt, don't forward things on just in case they might be true, because you can do more harm than favor. I mentioned some voice notes that bothered people and made them panic almost every 2 days on lockdown. Such voice notes went viral mainly through WhatsApp. People who had a little trust on them used to send them to friends, colleagues, and drop to the groups where many people could reach it. And what made people believe such kinds of notes was the fact that they contained both accurate and inaccurate information. For example, some of them recommended to wash hands properly, applying soap all the surface of hands within 20 seconds to prevent the spread of the virus. But some details were unproven claims about how to diagnose the virus. So this is the manipulative technique in informing. So don't you think the news creator achieved his goal with this trick? So, of course, yes. Before you forward it, check where the information comes from. It's usually a big red flag that the source is a friend of a friend or my neighbor's brother, like this, and appearance can be deceptive. It's possible to impersonate official accounts, even BBC News and the government. So now if I access Twitter to look up the official page of any organization, lots of similar accounts will pop up. So it's important to find out the fake one and trust the news coming from the reliable one. So screenshots are usually changed designing like the information comes from a verified body. And defining fake news was surely an aim of the project. We talked how to figure it out using Google image reverse search and check the original photo used in the screenshots. And of course, public opinion can be taken account into account in this point. So as well as we suggested some links on a separate page so that they could rely on. So we made a special page on the TwinSpace and installed all the links there that they could rely on while searching the new information and updates. And like in all eTwinning projects, safety was also a matter of fact in the project as well. So, Hanan? So safety resources, will you tackle with, please?
Yes, Rahia. So the second activity, we want to achieve the aim of e-safety. So we start, the first step of this activity was to presenting some e-safety rules from some trusted sources we uploaded for our students, so we can educate them about the benefits, the risks, the responsibilities of using information technology, and also to emphasize learning to understand and use a new technology in a positive way. The second step of this activity was the child protection policy, because the aim, of course, the aim was from integrating child protection policy in our project is to empowering and educating our students about their rights, about their personal safety, and about steps they can take if there is a problem like cyberbullying, for example. Actually, integrating child protection policy and e-safety guideline or rules into any eTwinning project nowadays is a priority, because transformation from education face-to-face to online. So our students deal with digital tools and platforms most of their daily life, and have to communicate online most of the time. So it will give our students fundamental about how to deal online in an online space and digital environment, where a lot of abuse or bullying could happen without base of knowledge by our students or our children, that this is against children's rights. So we believe that we mhed shed the light on this important issue. It's the child protection policy. The third step was the parent consent form, and we made sure that parents' consent form including three important points. The first point is to integrate the project plan inside the parents' consent form, because we believe that parents have to have the right to know the goals and the activities of the project that their children participate in. And also the second point we integrated in the parental consent form was the child protection policy, because as a link, of course, because also they have the right to know the rights of their children in during working in digital environment. And the third important point in parent consent form was to it included the approval of the parents to agree that we will take photos and videos for their children for the purpose of the project for e-safety issue. And the most fun step was the last one. It was a quiz, like a game. We created it by the application quizzes, and our students performed this quiz collaboratively in an online meeting. Of course, we in this quiz we put some important concepts on e-safety, like cyberbullying, like private information, like copyrights, and etc. Some important concepts that related to e-safety. And I think that this kind of interactive activity can achieve more than one goal. First, students can assess their e-safety information. Also, I think that students can see to what extent they are implementing online e-safety. And also, this kind of interactive activities can give teachers indicators on do they have to concentrate on this topic more? Do they have to create more activity related to e-safety or not? And I think also students can learn during these quizzes when they answer some questions and they realize that this question is not right, this is the right step. So I think that learning is happening during these quizzes. And of course, when fun is there, so learning is happened, I think. So because of these all reasons, we put this quiz on e-safety activity. And I think now we will transform to my colleagues Rohia to the next activity. Rohia.
Change the slide. Oh, so I have to. So creating students' media skills and developing them was an inseparable part of the project. Alongside the theoretical parts, we prioritized improving students' media skills as well. This included creating confidence while talking, delivering clear and effective presentations, engaging audience, even providing instructions how to create effective sound bites. So I'm not sure how successful I'm doing that. And soon afterwards, that we arranged our first meeting with students where they introduced themselves and their countries as well. We assigned them to develop video presentations dealing with how to get protected from the coronavirus. Meanwhile, we didn't adjust the format Instead, we left to the students' creativity, so asked to make it up to them as they like it. Therefore, we made very creative video clips, self-videos, as well as instructive presentations. So here I would like to state our students' IT skills, that it was so delightful working with these guys. So, and the choice of participants, the choice of the students were really, really successful. So due to participating and practicing throughout the project, they were presenting so sophisticated, like experienced presenters during online presentations. And we have some video shots from those presentations. So media skills activities were developed through the presentation dedicated to education. That's why we tackled education, how education survived on pandemic, because we didn't stay behind education. We kept it up. So actually our country's solutions, I mean Jordan's and Azerbaijan's solutions were similar, and for keeping education, they pushed the same platform. It was just coincidence. And since we had the same platform, we did conduct our own online meetings through it, and very easily and for free, of course. And here are some forum discussions that also were an important point to mention in the project activities, as our vast collaboration took place there. And if we imagine our eTwinning project as a classroom with no walls, then forum discussions can be supposed to be desks where students sit around and have discussions, right? They share everything. They share their views, culture, national dishes, and clothes, as well as and their opinions, of course, about the tasks, related topics, I mean. And the main thread tackled media leadership protection from coronavirus and education on pandemic. So this is a climate change that was one part of our project.
Yes, Rahia. So the last activity of our project was this big question: is there a relationship between climate change and corona? But before I present the activity that we created and the steps that we move within, I want just to present to you these two photos. The first one on the left is about climate change. It says that climate alarmists finally admit we were wrong about climate or about global warming. And on the second photo in the right is from my partner's country, Azerbaijan. The photo was taken near the capital city, Baku. It is an image of Babadagh mountain from the capital, Baku. It should be noted before that Babadagh mountain is located very far from Baku. It's about 160 kilometers, and it is about 3,629 meters above sea level. So according to some sources, half of the networker user believe this, and half said that no, it was a Photoshop. So the unbelievers' argument is that it's impossible to see Babadagh mountain because of the distance from the capital, Baku. But as my colleagues said to me, Rahia said that there was an official from archaeologists that this photo was right. And Babadagh mountain was seen because of the cleaning in the air because of the quarantine mood. The idea was from this, that in the internet era, where research papers or such photos are widely spread, everyone can become an expert on climate change or on in COVID-19. People who are not expert can access any information actually, and can interpret them in ways that fit their existing beliefs. Then they can share this information or their opinion, with others, despite this information is right or it's misinformation. While we are thinking we may not be paying attention to this kind of photos, I think that our brain still analyzing these images. Because of this, we created this activity, and we asked the big question for our students: is there a relationship between climate change and corona? Of course, our activity was about making our students dig deeply in how news and how online deal with the climate change and its relation with corona pandemic. Is there a relation? So our first step was to put some trusted sources for our students about the relationship between corona and climate change. Then we divided our students into diverse group from 2 countries to work in. Of course, we divided them into diverse group because we wanted from them to search from different point of view and from different sources, and then at last they must agree on what is the trusted information they will use. So the product of this activity was to create infographics, and our students have no idea what is infographic, and so we manage, we arrange an online meeting and give them all the related information about what is infographic, how they can, what is the application that they can use. Of course, we teach them how to use Canva to create this great infographic, and I think that the results were the results of the infographics that our students created were great. So this is some sample, or not the sample, this is the infographics that our students created for this activity. Of course, they presented them in an online meeting, and they use critical thinking skills related to the kind of information they will include and they will integrate in their infographics. And I think that the results were very great, actually, in this activity. This was the last activity, actually. And I want to come back to my colleagues, Rohi, because I think that maybe most of our colleagues answered the poll, Rohia, and I don't know if you want to share the results and discuss them with others.
Thank you, Hanan. Thank you for giving the good clearance as well, because actually when we saw that photo on social networks, everyone was shocked because we had never had such kind of view from Baku. But everyone what comes down after the Ministry of Ecology, so gave the official clearance explanation that yes, it is possible because the climate change, the environment, the climate has become very proper. That's why we can say that view from Baku, from capital city, actually the eyesight is not available to see the things from that distance. Thank you, Hanan. So I want to share my page to make the tool visible. How can I stop sharing here? Stop sharing here, and after this I have to share. right? How can I move to sharing my screen here? Screen. Yes.
Click on my screen.
Share screen. So
we lost Hanan. I'm trying to
launch the connect. No. No. So I'm guessing I'm not very successful. So what button I have to click on? Essay. Share screen. Okay, I'm sharing my.
Here in the very middle, it says share my screen. Yes.
I'm clicking on it, and then what I have to choose. It needs. No, it needs to download the application. I'm so sorry. But I will talk about the result. I will analyze the result of Doodle. So we had the slide questions. So will you go back to the first slide, Hanan? That where the questions are.
If I don't know.
So.
Asi, can you reshare our presentation?
I'm sorry
please?
if I made some trouble here. We have to go back to the questions, and I will say just estimation. Thank you. To the very.
Yes, the question I think was it was at the first, Rahia.
So the questions are here. I asked if you have media literacy classes in your country, and how important do you find it? So the first icon that shows yes, we do, and it is very important to have media literacy classes at schools. 18 people answered it positively. The 4 people just answered that yes, we do, but I don't find them important for school children. And I'm happy actually to have just no answer for the bar that no, we don't, and I don't think media literacy is important for school children. And 16 people answered that no, we don't have media literacy classes, but I think media literacy should be included in the curriculum. So actually, to tell the truth, we in Azerbaijan we don't conduct media literacy classes in schools actually. But when I was in the field experience in America, when I took my course about media literacy in America, I visited many just privileged American schools in Ohio State, and I saw that not very in high schools, but in secondary schools, many secondary schools had media literacy classes, and they found it very, very, very important. So that's the analyzing of our poll. And I would like also to have media literacy classes in our curriculum, but we have some topics, units related to media literacy in all, just almost in all classes, in all grades, of our textbooks, because our textbooks actually are very so detailed, and they cover all parts of life. That's why media literacy is also included here, but not as a special subject that American schools conduct in their schools. So thank you for those who participated in the poll and helped us to figure out our minds, to clear our minds. Thank you. So, and we can have some questions in the chat box. Hanan, did you check it?
Yes, Rahia. Thank you, Rahia, for sharing the results. And we hope that the activities that we are sharing with you and this presentation inspire you to create some projects, eTwinning projects that are in this theme, the theme of media literacy and disinformation. And I think that we as teachers must educate ourselves on this topic as well as our students, because when I read about this topic, there's some new concepts. Maybe we implemented them in some way, but I think that we need to gain some more deep knowledge about this topic, so we can build some a strong eTwinning project that can our students benefits from these kinds of a project. So if any one of you have any question about the project or in general, we can receive the question and answer if we can, of course.
So actually, my plan after coming back from America was different. We had to create a media literacy clubs with our students, but pandemic didn't let us do that. That's why we created this project, and it like soothed my trouble. So it was great in this point.
I think, Rohia, it's a very inspiring idea to create media literacy club in schools. I think it's a very inspiring idea.
Really.
Yeah.
So, Asa, do we have any questions?
Yeah, so there was some questions. There's one, the latest one. Do you have different activity ideas for teenagers? Because there's a teacher who cannot find suitable activities for high school students.
Hanan? Hanan? So?
Excuse me, Asi. She want yes. Excuse me, Asi. She want what? Some activities for teenager.
Yeah, for older students. Yeah. If there's anything for older, like high school age.
So I have in my mind now maybe the quiz activity. I like the quizzes activity because actually it have fun for younger and also for older. But the content of the quiz may be different. Maybe, for example, we can build some quizzes that give the students knowledge about the how they distinguish between misinformation and disinformation. So we can, for example, present to them some news that contain misinformation and some news that contain disinformation, and ask them to distinguish between these two concepts. So I think that the same activity we can adapt it to be suitable for older students. The same activity, I mean, to be adapted to be for older students by changing what is the content of the question, but the activity is still the same. Because I think that when we put fun in some activities, even older students will adapt with this activity and will learn from this. So this is the idea that I have right now in my mind about what activities do we have for older, for example.
So, and I will add something. Yes, I will add something that this student who is the student that gets success is a success in media literacy. Is the one that who has a just how to say, he's very interested in daily news. He's very interested in politics, for example, happenings in surrounding happenings in their country, because we had very tough days in the latest months in our country last year. We had war, and so we analyzed if we analyzed it So we couldn't attend school that day. We had only online education, and we didn't have time. So if we had, for example, if we had that media leadership classes, that we could have chance to analyze news happening daily, because just analyzing things happening every day, that they give us a good just insight to the student. And media literacy and critical thinking are inseparable parts. So we cannot imagine them separately. That's why analyzing daily news really helps students to improve to develop their critical thinking. And one more point. Actually, right today, I assigned 2 days ago. I assigned an assignment for our ninth graders. Actually, they are adolescents. They are teenagers, and they have pretty enough broadened mind that to analyze the sources information. And I assigned them to just compare our educational systems. How much you spend on education, your daily hours, to compare with those of other countries. And so I came across very, interesting news. And once more again, I reminded them to just to turn to the reliable sources, because not every source on the internet gives reliable, credible news. That's the most point. Just to pay attention in media literacy.
One more question. So this is from the idea board that we shared earlier. So what techniques would you suggest for verifying information from various sources? And perhaps, is this something you can teach to your students?
Yes, Asi. I think that there is several techniques that we can verifying information from various sources. One of them is to check the sources. Sometimes, for example, we can check the date, because a lot of information are spread, but it will be in, for example, not new. It's an old information. So we must check the sources of information. And I think, Rohia, we mentioned what is techniques in the ebook we created.
So actually, I didn't get the point in the question.
Rohia.
I didn't get the question actually. But if you mean the ebook where we installed, the media literacy, just first insight. It just provided the first insight to the students what to believe in and what not to trust, just ignore them. Yes, to stop and think, because I mentioned in my presentation that every 2 days voice notes went viral through WhatsApp, and they dropped it to different groups where many people reached out. So that really bored everyone. And everyone was bored. So that was the instruction. We have to give instructions to the students that please don't believe such kind of messages. And the reason that why they believe it, because such kind of messages, I don't mean not only on WhatsApp, it's just voice notes. Every kind of news on media, so contain both accurate and inaccurate messages. That's why people do believe it. And so if the participant means to figure out the reliable sources. I couldn't get the message. So we got a question. I mean, but there are some techniques. Just taking the barcode, scanning the barcode we have, and checking the source and people opinion about that source. So actually, I experienced such kind of just how to say trap that I was in a trap of that unreliable sources. And then I figured out and left it.
Okay, thank you. Also, we have tried to address these questions also in the group, so that's why I posted the link there. And then also I want to share another resource external for exactly the questions that were asked, because I'm afraid we are running out of time. We couldn't really address the one question about what is the disinformation, what is misinformation, what is malinformation. So I put the link here, and you can also find this in the group. So apologies, I'm afraid we need to end this session now. So I will stop the recording very soon. So thank you everyone for joining, and hopefully we can continue the discussion in the group on media literacy. Let's try to have a way, maybe we can use the forum or have another type of tool for this discussion, because clearly there's a lot of interest, and thank you for showing your work. So this is a good start to get eTwinners inspired. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
From my side for coming, and thank you for the participants for joining.
And this is a good point.
Thank you, Asi.
And then I also put a link in the chat.
Maybe we'll have a chance to deliver some other information about misinformation, disinformation in our spring campaign.
Yes, exactly. So we will definitely tackle, don't forget so good that you mentioned the spring campaign, it is coming. So thank you for thank you for raising it up. So from the 1st of March, we will tackle these issues even better in the group. And I put the sign-up sheet here in the chat. I put it one more time. So thanks everyone. I will just stop the recording.